Hi, this is Alan Wright with Zephyr Conferences. This is the final part of our 10-week video series on marketing for small businesses in the food, wine, and beer industries. Last week, we talked about influencer marketing, and we had Tony Dash, who's a food influencer, and I think it was really excellent. So if you didn't watch that, I suggest you do. Today, we are going to play off on that and talk about marketing at influencer conferences. Now, this is what we do. We run 5 food, wine, and beer conferences every year, and 3 of those are influencer conferences. The Wine Media Conference in 2021 will take place in Eugene, Oregon, August 5 through 7. The International Food Blogger Conference will take place October 1 through 2, plus pre- and post-con excursions in El Paso, Texas. And Beer Now Conference for the beer industry will take place November 10 through 14 in Austin, Texas. Now, this is the only video we're really going to talk at all about us and sponsoring conferences, but I'm not going to do that until the end. So most of this will be excellent information, even if you don't ever attend or sponsor one of our conferences. First off, why should you market through influencer conferences? I've got 4 reasons for you. Number 1, you get good information about subjects important to you anyway. We are constantly providing information about email marketing, social media marketing, digital advertising, search engine optimization, content generation, creating community engagement, all things that are important to businesses in addition that are interested to influencers. So just attending can be really great. Number 2, you can make in-person connections. That's something that's gone away a little bit, right? As we're all living in a digital world. It's very important. Tony talked last week that she doesn't take assignments from food companies unless she thinks that A, she likes them, and B, she can actually help them. And meeting people in person is a great way to, number 3, assess whether those influencers are a good fit for you. So you can actually attend, meet a large variety of influencers at these conferences, and select a few that you think are the ones that you'd like to work with. And number 4, conferences are a great way to reach multiple influencers, even if they're not that large of a influencer size. So this is the whole idea of micro-influencers, and conferences are a great way to meet many micro-influencers at the same time. In February 2019, which is over 2 years ago and a lifetime away at this point, I wrote an article on our Zephyr Conferences site that talked about the 20 more well-known attendees at our 2019 Food Blogger Conference that was upcoming. Those attendees had, on average, almost 9,000 Twitter followers, 29,000 Instagram followers, almost 33,000 Pinterest followers, and over 125,000 Facebook followers on average, for a total of almost 200,000 followers just on those social media platforms, which meant almost 4 million in total for just those 20 influencers. Keep in mind that's 2 years ago, so their influence numbers will have risen. That was only 20 out of the 150 or so that were there at that conference 2 years ago. And it didn't include all platforms like YouTube and TikTok. So what that tells you is that sponsoring a conference of influencers can get you reach into a large number of influencers, some of whom have quite serious engagement numbers with their audiences. So it can be really, really effective. If you do decide to sponsor a conference, one of the things that's critical is how to do it properly. And we have been doing this now for 14 years, so I've seen successes and failures. And I've got 7 tips for you on how to succeed at sponsoring an influencer conference. Number 1, pick the right conference. There are many to choose from. You could pick general influencer conferences or specific niche ones for your industry. Our 3 are industry niche conferences. There are no really other ones in the wine and beer ones other than what we do. In the food world, we do have some other blogger or social media or influencer conferences that exist in the food world. I like the niche ones because they're they're smaller, and you can then meet people better, and they will be in your industry already. Number two, this is super important. Sometimes we have sponsors come in and they want immediate results right away. You will get some immediate results. If you sponsor a wine tasting or a beer tasting or a lunch, you will get people tweeting and Facebooking about it. But a lot of that will not come instantly. It's those influencers who are assessing what's going on. They're busy at the conference. They have a calendar that they write about, and it might be 6 months until they write about you. So you have to realize things take time. And it's also true that sometimes you'll meet influencers who just what you're saying or offering don't fit into what they do on their blog. So expecting immediate massive results is going to lead to disappointment. Number three, attend and interact with the attendees. This is so interesting that we often get sponsors who pay good money to come to a conference, show up 20 minutes before their event and leave 20 minutes afterwards. And others will pay, or sometimes not even sponsor the conference, but they pay to attend, and they will meet people, greet people, hang out with people, and they make great connections that pay dividends later. So I would highly suggest actually attending the whole conference and participating. Number four, take advantage of the benefits you are offered by the conference organizer. We offer a lot of different benefits. Some of those are automatic. We put you on our website, for example. We put you in emails we send out. Other ones require you to actually do something, like writing a blog post for our conference website. It's amazing how many sponsors don't take advantage of all the benefits that we offer them. And I know it takes time, but if you're going to pay money and do it, it's worth taking advantage of those. Number five, don't self-promote too much. This is the crux of influencer marketing. Frankly, this is the crux of all marketing now. People do not want to be told they should purchase your product. They want to be given a reason to have a connection with you. And that is how you should definitely be marketing at influencer conferences. Number six, engage on social media. This is important too. So if you are sponsoring a tasting at our wine tasting conference, our wine media conference, and you're not paying attention to what's going on social media, you're not taking full advantage of your opportunities. So if someone tweets about you or sends a photo about you on Instagram and you are not there to retweet it, then you're not taking full advantage of the positive things they hopefully are going to be saying about you. In addition, you could actually start that process by reaching out to influencers. Hey, I just heard your talk on such and such. Really great. They might then retweet that, and boom, there you go. You've now reached their audience as well. So engaging while the conference is going on is important. And number seven, follow up. You're going to make connections. It's definitely worth an email to people that you meet, or in cases everybody, if you get that list of attendees, and let them know you're available. This is your contact information, and you're happy to meet and answer questions they have about your company or anything else that they're interested in. So I want to talk about influencer conferences in a COVID world. Some conferences have disappeared. We had a food blogger conference that's just gone and sort of exploded in spectacular fashion last summer. Others are still virtual only. And so you do need to pay attention to what it is that is working for you and whether you want to be doing virtual or in person. It's also true that if you're planning to attend a conference, you should check that conference's safety procedures. I'm in the travel world. The other half of my company of Zephyr United runs tours around the world, and I'm constantly telling people, listen, you need to check the businesses that you're thinking about going to and seeing what they're talking about for COVID, because if they're not talking about it, they're not doing anything about it. For our conferences, we are, not only do we have outdoor locations for the food blogger conference in El Paso and the beer conference in Austin, which makes it much safer, but we're also requiring everybody who attends our conference, including sponsors, to either be vaccinated or have a negative PCR test. That should help dramatically. And we've back-ended our dates so that our dates are August, October, and November when things should be better. And keep in mind, too, your sponsorship is more critical now than it probably ever has been. Influencers are struggling sometimes, right? A lot of people are struggling, and that means that maybe their spouse's job has gone away. But think about influencers that write about wine and beer and like to go visit wineries and breweries. Those people haven't been able to do that for the last year, and it makes it tough for them to get content, tough for them to engage their readers. They could use your support, and the conference organizers obviously could use your support because it's been a rough year for all of us who couldn't run conferences for the last year. So your sponsorship is important to the industry, and influencers are important to the industry, and you can support those influencers by supporting conferences. So having said that, I want to quickly tell you about our conferences. As I mentioned, we have those three: beer, wine, and food. They're industry niche conferences. They're smaller, so they're a great way to meet individuals who are influencers already in your industry. We're also very COVID safe. We have those outdoor locations, and we're requiring vaccination or negative PCR tests for COVID. I want to say one more thing, too, about our conferences that make them very unique. We have a system in which we offer our influencers a discount, $100, $200, or $300 off the registration fee, which is significant if they agree to write 1, 2, or 3 posts about the sponsors at our conferences. So unlike almost any other conference I know, we're essentially guaranteeing, since most of our influencers do take us up on this offer, we're essentially guaranteeing that there will be posts written on blogs and websites about our sponsors. Influencers get to choose who they're going to write about and what they're going to write about, but they do agree to do it. We do follow up with them. It will happen. And that's an excellent opportunity for you to ensure that you will get a share of that virtual love. So that's the end of our 10-part series. I really hope it was useful for you. If you have any questions for me about anything, or if you'd like to sponsor any of our conferences, please email me at Allan, ALLAN, @zephyrunited.com.